depending on where you live and who you are, and I mean, we all come in different shapes and sizes, right? We all like different things. I mean, geez, I mean, it's I mean, I don't want to live in a homogenous world where everything is, dare I say, sealed up. You know, yes. Um, but um, but then again, if but in certain situations, air tightness is appropriate, and you do have difficult sites where they might not get direct sunlight, and or you might be you might be in an urban setting where noise is an issue. There's pollutants, and you're not I mean that is the best way to deal with the situation, is by looking at air tightness and having some type of kind of mechanical ventilation system in there. So yeah, I mean, it's not to say, I think that there's just always different ways of doing things, and it's just relative to the person, and the site conditions and budget.
So the super home I see as an organisation that is addressing a need for homes to be comfortable, energy efficient and healthy to live in, and that goes for both new homes and also refurbishing existing homes. And what we like about the super home movement is they don't have prescribed parameters that you have to work to. It's about listening to people and then giving them the most, or maximising the benefits that we can within the budget that they've got. What you are trying to do is get a home that has all the benefits of an energy efficient home at a price that's affordable to the person that's building that home.
With super homes, you've got base, better, best. So base is good, but it's a no frills sort of thing. Keep them within your budget. Okay. So when you got your better, now that's it becomes a choice. We sit on better and we sit on best. Okay. Our base is what we call our moral basic system. Our better is our RMAT system, and our best is our RMAT system, because to be honest, it's your exterior building, you don't cut corners on that part. Both with the better design and the best design and base design, that goes to your designer. Okay? They are critical, very critical in getting this right.
There are ways to build a super home without it costing the earth, but there are some fundamentals that we must hit, and that means that the building in the long run continues to be super.
So when it comes to designing a super home, there are different pathways really. You can go the whole length, or you just go a certain step. There are minimum things you should do, which are sort of non-negotiable if it comes to a super home. Because if you don't go through those steps, it means that you wouldn't really achieve a super home. And the super home is based on designing in a way that you end up with a healthy, cost-efficient, energy-efficient home. So the minimum basic standards I always tell my clients is the air tightness, the insulation value, and also the heat recovery and ventilation system. Recessed windows are part of that as well. So you can't really say you can't use one of those. You have to go with that as a minimum. But from then on, you can actually sort of step up and choose upgrades in a way.
With the base, better, best, it's important not to get stuck on the one specific space. The key to it really is to understand that we can kind of pick and choose. There are some fundamentals that are really critical, but we can pick and choose between things like budget, what works specifically for a specific home. So there's various spaces where we can become more affordable if that's the case, or we can maybe drop for a base target on one criteria, but then aim for a best criteria on a different criteria.
A lot of it is not about costing more money. It's about how to think smarter, how to spend the money in the right place when you're building a home. Those are the knowledges you don't get by just reading through the plans on the website.
Like a lot of people, I guess it was always, how big can you make a house, and how much bling can you add to it, and how much can we sell it for, without necessarily thinking about how durable they were or how healthy they were. I did plenty of 400 square metre houses with multiple rooms and large kitchens and triple garages, but they had single glazing and minimal insulation, and relied heavily on fossil fuels and electricity to sort of keep them comfortable.
The Kiwi psyche is to have your own quarter acre or your own bit of land, your own garden, your own environment. And I understand that. But now there's a real constraint around affordability. And there is a real need to think outside the square. And so for a young couple, for example, it's really important to value stuff that is a bit different from before. And so as an example, you can build a home that is really well built and built with a long-term view in mind. You can build that home and put a second-hand $2,000 kitchen in it. That might be 5 years you might have to endure that kitchen. And in time you'll be able to improve that when you can afford it. But I think we have to get away from wanting everything now.
At the end of the day, everyone's borrowed some money. They've got to make some decisions. Do I get the fancy tap or do I get the better windows? And we have those conversations just about every day.
Yeah, it depends on the client's budget. If we have someone that's wanting to build a flash house and they have a bit more money to splash around, I might say to them, well, instead of maybe doing a really flash kitchen or bathroom, how about we put some of that into solar, or maybe some really good European windows or something like that. And it's amazing how once you've explained to them why we're doing it, and this is what you're going to get at the end of the once your house is built, they say, oh, maybe I should do that, and maybe not spend so much on the bathroom or the kitchen. And yeah, it's amazing once people understand and are more educated, how their thinking changes.
This home we built last year and we finished it in October. The idea being that it was this old style mid-century home. We didn't have a big budget for it. We'd stretched ourselves a bit thin with the subdivision and the various other things going on, and we built it on a shoestring, I guess you'd say. There were things that really mattered to us and we weren't going to compromise on those. And so we had triple glazed UPVC joinery for the home. It was important that we end up with a really functional kitchen. And it was important that we had a great heating system, that the house was warm. And so there were some things that were quite key that we had to spend good money on to get right. And then there are other things that didn't matter so much. Well, it didn't matter. It didn't matter in terms of what it looked like. It really mattered in terms of how it functioned.
What people often consider about building a new home is how many square meters do I have? How many bedrooms do I have? What kind of kitchen bench do I have? What I want people to switch a little bit about what they want to focus on is potentially on how much the house will cost to run. The operational cost of the house is often being overlooked.
I challenge them on just about every project about the room requirements they actually need. So most projects will have a pretty robust discussion about, okay, you're just hypothetically say So you're in your late 50s, your kids left home, you may or may not have grandchildren. Why are we building a 4-bedroom home? What are those rooms going to be used for? And can we look at a different way of doing it? And so quite often we'll say, okay, well, let's say have one spare room. We'll make it a universal room. It can be your hobbies room or your office most of the time. You're probably not going to be using it for hobbies or office if the grandchildren are there and they can stay in that room. We have those sorts of conversations. It doesn't always end up that they do make the house smaller, but it quite often does. And I say, if you're making the house smaller and we're going to offer, and let's say building costs of 5,000 square metre, and we've taken 10 square metres off, we've saved 50,000. Let's put 25,000 of that back into the house with some solar panels. And they go, oh, wow. And then, so they haven't spent any more money, but they have saved some money in terms of their running costs.
If you think about the benefits you get from better house, better insulated house, more energy efficient, less heat loss, the healthiness of your home, the price, it's not the cost you pay up front, it's the longevity of it and the savings you get and better performing house. And I think that's for all the warm house, passive house people, super home, everyone is talking about make your slightly smaller, save those $3,000 or $4,000 a square meter and spend on the quality of the house.